Awesome. What's up, John? How you been, buddy? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate your time a lot, and I look forward to hearing all about your story.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks,
Wicked.
thanks.
Yeah, man. So then kick us off then. So you tell us about your whole your business adventures going from somebody who graduated high school to I know you moved out west in your
Yeah,
story in there. You worked out west, you worked in Sudbury, and then now you own, in my opinion, the best bike repair shop in the city.
I
Probably
appreciate it.
probably Ontario, maybe Northern Ontario for sure as well. So I'm sure we'll get to that.
That's some pretty big aspirations, but yeah, it's
Okay.
been fun. Yeah, I said graduated high school a little while ago, and when I graduated high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I kind of stayed in Sudbury. Ended up getting a job at a local shop,
Nice.
Pinnacle Sports at the time, and they've since closed, but it was a super cool little shop. I worked for him for, I don't know, probably 4 years, and then set my sights out west. I had a buddy who was supposed to go out west with me after high school, but he actually ended up pursuing some other stuff, and then it didn't end up working out for him. So he came back to me and was like, "Yo, you still want to go out west?" I was like, "Yeah, I do."
He's like,
So
yeah,
we dropped everything and moved out west, and not really having a place to go, an idea of what we wanted to do, where we wanted to end up, or whatever.
Mhm.
We found Revelstoke, and we drove in. We're like, guys, this place looks all right, and we found to find a house, rented a house. Didn't even have jobs yet. Then kind of figured we could get a gig, and I ended up getting a gig at a procedure shop out there,
nice.
Skookum, and that's when everything kind of changed for me. You go from working in super small town shop to working in the big shops, and I always said, so in bike shop world, in retail, whatever, you've got this catalog, and let's say it's 500 pages of just bikes, accessories, and parts,
Yeah,
and all that stuff. In Sudbury, when I was working at Pinnacle, we'd use like 6 pages, right? It was like, these are the bikes available in Sudbury.
right.
And just what's up with the rest of the book, right? Like, what are these about? So moved to BC thinking, you know what, we're going to explore the rest of the stuff, not just on the bike side, but on the ski side as well.
Hmm.
And it ended up being pretty dope. It was a crazy time, like totally off the chain. Like the biking was incredible. Skiing, it's the best place to ski in the world, as far as I've been told. I've skied a lot of places, but that's definitely the best I've skied. But I have friends that I met out there that were from the Alps and that were from all over the place, and that's where those guys go to get their recreational time. So anyways,
Nice.
good time, and ended up coming back and working. It's kind of a funny story. I moved back semi-temporarily.
Okay.
It was rolling into September. I had a job lined up to move to Kelowna. So that was the
Nice.
closest big city to Revelstoke.
Yeah.
I had business school lined up. I was going to go into marketing.
Nice.
And then I had my aunt had a place in Kelowna. She was going to let me live in the granny suite for free. And I had
Nice.
a management job lined up at a local shop. It was
Oh,
even
that's not
bigger
too
than
bad.
Skookum. So
Wow.
they wanted to hire me on. But they said, "Hey, John, listen, I just brought a bunch of guys in for the winter season. I can't hire you now because I just got all these guys. Well, I kind of need a gig." He's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I can hire you in February." I said, "Fuck, what am I going to do? Like,
Yeah. This is September,
fall."
right? Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Fall.
September. We're going to fall. Season pass at Revy's like $1,000. I'm a ski bum. I ain't got
Yeah.
no money. What am I going to do? So anyways, I ended up saying, fuck it, I'll move back home.
Nice.
And I'll move back home. I'll stay back home for a couple months because I'm probably going to be out west the rest of my life.
Hmm.
And I came back home. And when I came back home, I started doing some pickup work for Adrian again.
Yep.
And started applying some of the stuff that I learned when I was out west. And, trying it and, trying the different boot fit tactics, trying to talk about skis the way we talked about skis when we were out west, but talking about it in Sudbury at a small shop. And it caught. It started catching on. And as it started catching on, we were like, you know what? Maybe this could work. And then Adrian made it known that he was kind of looking to retire and get out of the game. So when he retired, we opened up our shop, kind of timed it properly, and
Nice.
away we went. It was like no turning back. But it was a chain of events all the way through that kind of made it so that it all kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I like that. I like that a lot. What do you feel was the biggest challenge throughout that whole throughout your timeline that you just told me? What was the biggest challenge you had to, or hurdle you had to jump through?
I'd say moving out west.
Yeah.
It's funny. So And I always tell people always ask me, like, John, you're 23, you open up a business. Why'd you do that? How'd you do that? How could you do that? Like,
Yeah.
that's a big move. It's not, it's nothing. It's so easy, man. You can call up a company. If you can convince this guy to send you some stuff, and you can convince this guy to rent you a unit, and you get $60 to pay for like a CRA account and a business account, you can open a business. It's not hard. It's the jumping in the water and jumping off the dock that really, it's the hard part. But I did that first when I was 19 or 20, when I moved to BC.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get in the car and you start driving, and you just don't really know where you're going, but you don't really care, and you start driving, and then you realize that it is all just kind of going to be fine, right? It doesn't really matter, right? And that, like, your security systems and your support systems that you have back home, whereas they're super, super awesome. Like, you can just do whatever you want. And then being out west, not having anyone, like my buddy, so Calvin, one of my closest friends, he was out there for the winter, and then he left after the winter, and I stayed for the summer. And after that, so I'm out there solo, and you start realizing, dude, I can do whatever I want. Literally, like, there is no consequences. There is no nothing, right? I could go be a homeless person if I wanted to. I could go in, quit this job and do this and do that. There's no, like, outside, no one looking at me saying you're expected to uphold this level of whatever.
Right. There's no expectations.
Exactly. So that was a big thing for me. And once you kind of learn to remove all that stuff, everything else became a little easier, right? Like, it's, what do I want to do? Well, I want to open a business. So I opened a business. Like, it was pretty cut and dry after that. Once you kind of already mill away all the small stuff before, all the hesitations, like, that was a big thing.
Now, with that, then, what do you tell people? I'd assume they'd come to you often, but when they're maybe an example in the shop, they're coming up to you and they want to go to a certain trail or to a certain city or a certain park and try out what kind of rides that they have there and sessions that they have there, and figure out kind of what works for them, and they want to commit and, like, full send, for lack of a better word. But what do you tell them about, like, how do you instill confidence in people who want to go take the extra step in their riding? Like,
in biking or in life?
Yeah, it could be both. Let's do both.
Well, in biking, you got to ride people better than you. I guess you could say one and the same. It's a lot to surround yourself with. But in biking, the best way to get better riding, better snowboarding, better that kind of stuff is you got to go people better than you. It's the same thing in jiu-jitsu, right? Like, people train, like, you get good by getting your ass kicked all day. And it's just the way it is, right? You get good trying to keep up. You get good trying to keep the pace. In business, it's a little different. You got to be passionate.
Yeah.
Right. That's the number one thing. You got to be passionate. You got to really care what you're doing. You have to understand your environment. And that's why it really worked out for me, being able to, work in Sudbury for the amount of years I worked in, and then move to BC, get the expertise, and then come back and open up in Sudbury. Because if I would open up a shop in BC, let's say I moved to Kelowna, and a month later I decided to open up a shop in Kelowna. Well, I don't know Kelowna, right? I don't know what kind of landscape they have. I don't know what kind of bikes they have. Like, in Sudbury, I know what size of bikes guys ride. I know what, down to the, like, t-shirt size. We're buying t-shirts. I know what kind of t-shirts to buy because we understand. So it makes a big difference knowing your landscape, knowing your environment, knowing your crowd. Sounds like a pretty easy answer, but you got to have your ear to the ground, right? You got to be part of the community. You have to be doing events. You have to be involved, right? You see these clothing shops or whatever it is that just open up, especially walk in the door, but you ain't owed anything. You got to go and get it. So it's, business is a little different. But yeah, I mean, you got to know. You have to know who you're selling stuff to. If you don't know and you're just expecting to build something, it'll never happen.
I like that a lot. That describes at best, I think, is the example of your passion, where you guys are able to go out and create these events. And on that, what events do you guys typically put on? For people who don't know.
We do summer and winter events. So in the summer, we work extensively with the Walden Mountain Bike Club. They're the club just outside of the town. We call them the Walden Mountain Bike Club, but in reality, they are the mountain bike club for Sudbury. So they run out of the Walden Trail system out in towards Lively, but a lot of the members do a lot of the maintenance and work throughout all the trail systems in town. And this club kind of is the house for everything. So right out of the gate, we really want to support them. So we help them with the group rides. We help them on the board as much as we can. We sponsor any event if they ever needed any sponsor that was coming to us. We're always helping them out.
Nice.
Like just trying to push the scene that way. And then when we show up to events, we try to bring our tents and our stuff and we bring our reps up and we bring brands up and bikes up just to try to blow it up a bit. And then we have, our athletes and ambassadors, and we bring them all with us and try to pump the events up as much as we can for them. So we do quite a bit of that. We also we have our own group rides. So we'll run, this summer a little different because of COVID. But last summer we ran a weekly gravel group ride, nice. Which was, it's funny because it's a newer style of biking, newer discipline, kind of like that mountain bike super chill attitude, but can appeal to road cyclists or fitness freaks or whoever else, but kind of has that laid back feel. So did us really well.
Yeah, I bet. Tell me then, how did that kind of get started? Like how did that trend kind of formulate? Our ride formulated because of one of my staff members, Kelly, who's pretty fucking unbelievable. If I'm gonna be honest, he's pretty good. So he's a kid with this ton of passion, like super positive attitude, heavy road athlete, like goes all out of his way to do all these races up in Northern Ontario, just cleans up. Anyways, he's working for us and he starts riding gravel. And he wanted to kind of start doing a group ride, want to start making something happen. Well, hey, Kelly, well, here's the deal, man. We'll run the ride, we'll go get the insurance, we'll get all this, so you just do you. So he shows up, his first ride, there's a couple people, just a couple friends, that's it. Show up his second ride, there's a couple more. And then we run a ride out of the local brewery at a spacecraft. We're like, okay, everyone meet at spacecraft. We're going to go rip around like these, like Professor Woodcock came out to this one. Nice. We ended up having like 30 some people come up to this group ride. And we were like, shit, what are we going to do? Like, it's a lot of people. So the new discipline is it's a better way to blend both mountain bikers and road cyclists. So we're getting a lot of people out. So that's good. So we do a lot of events with them. And then heading into the winter, we work with Boogie Mountain. Right. We do events with ADNAC as well, which is our local hill here in town, but it's city run. We're very good friends with the events coordinator and with the guy running ADNAC. So we were able to kind of run some stuff when we can, but there's a lot of bureaucracy and some stuff going on there. With the city, it just takes time, which is cool. Right. We're ironing some stuff out, but we work at Boogie because they're a little more like loose. They let us do some stuff. They have their insurance stuff dialed in. They're like, we call them, they call their guy. They go, yeah, we can do this. So we've run pond skims out there. We run across water. We run big air comps. We run all that kind of stuff. So we do as many events as we can. I mean, we're like at a point now where that takes a lot of work too. So we need a guy to help us do that. It's the whole event side of the business is like, it's a lot, right? Like a lot of different events, a lot of opportunities, a lot of things people want, right? Like we also have a hand in the skate community, and the skate guys constantly knocking on our door. Can we do a skate comp? Can we do a rail comp? It's just, there's always more events and we want to do them all. It's just, it's a community
fun, man.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
It's fun, man. Like you don't go into retail to make money. You go into retail to have fun. You go into retail to do events, to hang out with kids and ride bikes.
Yeah. Build the community.
Trips. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you guys do that for skates. You guys go with who do you partner up with?
It's the refinery.
Right.
So we work with Will Himsel, and Will Himsel is the barber at the refinery. It's a barbershop, skateboard shop. So we partner with him, and they're kind of our sister shop. It's 99.9% Will. He does all the work down there. He's a good guy. But yeah, it's a super little low to the ground skate shop that we have a lot of fun with. And again, just more events, more fun, more like things to do.
Nice. That's awesome. So then taking a back step, when we first chatted, I think our first good conversation was we were talking at the troop dinner, and me, your now fiance, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, the three of us were chatting about it was like your trip to BC and what you learned, and you told me a bunch of the marketing strategies and what you touched on a few minutes ago. with, you learned a lot over there that was different that you were able to apply here.
Yeah,
Kind of take
absolutely.
me through what that was like what you picked
So
up from the books and what examples
yeah.
you have taken away and implemented.
So
Curious.
when I was out there, we do the whole winter, right? And the winter was dope. It was just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And after the winter, all my buddies leave. So it's just myself hanging out, right? Me and my dog. And you can only be, as a business guy, as an entrepreneur, right? Not to use the overused word, but
Yes.
you can only be sitting in your like small little bachelor pad, ride bikes every day for so long. You start to get a little crazy.
Yeah.
So you start looking for something to do. So we started reading books, and I started reading like whatever, all the Gary Vee stuff. I started
Yeah.
reading old Overgoatsky books on advertising. I started reading like just fucking anything I could get my hands on. So just going through stuff in the coffee shop, and then I was fortunate when I was out there. They gave me a little bit of freedom, and they were like, "Listen, like where social media is not quite up to what it could be. You want to start playing with it?" And I was like, "It's dope." And then my buddy Ollie, super good friend of mine, he was from France, and he's a
That's
pro
awesome.
photographer,
Oh, wow.
and he was working with me at Skookum over the winter. He took a ton of photos in the winter and then in the spring, and he actually works for Solomon now and a couple other brands. He's a like super legit photographer,
Nice.
and
Good for him.
he got all these photos that he was going to use as marketing photos for Skookum, and it's like, listen, here, take these, use these. So we used those photos and we started playing around, right? We started timing posts, started like kind of figuring out what day is best, what time is best, when you're getting the best reach, how many posts before you can do this, how many posts before you can do that. Just playing with all the different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it really started to give us just an idea of how, and this is, I don't know, whatever, this is 5-6 years ago, right? So this is when Facebook ads and Facebook marketing and all that stuff. It was big, but it wasn't like now where everything's just dialed in, right? It's just click the button and it just
on the
fades it
rise,
out for you. So it was a lot of fun. It was super fun. And we really realized out there the trends and the way things were out there. It takes a couple of years for those trends to hit Sudbury. So we're looking at whether it be, the trend that at the time was in Sudbury, everyone was riding hardtails, no rear suspension. Everyone was riding XC bikes and wearing, spandex and racing around. Whereas out in BC, you had that like super chill BC, like guys were smoking pot and drinking beers and riding bikes.
Yeah.
And that didn't hit Sudbury. It didn't hit there yet. And we had come back, it had just kind of started. So when we opened up, it's this like super chill, laid back shop. We just kind of slipped in with the vibe and it just kind of worked. And we just kind of caught the wave. But when you're vigilant and you're looking at the trends from out there and looking at the trends from here and you kind of know the way it's going to work, you get a little bit of advantage that way. It's a nice thing about being in a small city in northern Ontario, right? Like we're not necessarily cutting edge. So it's just following the trends of the guys everywhere.
No, I like that. And like you said, though, that's keeping your ear to the ground helps.
Absolutely.
Right. Like being in the events, creating that community. And honestly, I think that seems to be more what your company has become, where it's just building a community. Like now everyone at Troop is like, man, well, especially with COVID, it's now nobody can train jiu-jitsu. So it's like, hey, well, outside works, let's go for bike rides. And then now everyone's like, either like me, like repairing their bikes, doing everything they can to get it better, or just like, hey, we need a new one. Let's get one. Yeah, let's go see John. I got it. So
that's been everyone this year, man. Like we kind of got on this like this whole COVID thing was crazy wave of emotions, man. We went from being like, the world is going to end. Like we were convinced shop was going to shut down. We're like, how are we going to pay the bills? And like, it's different for us too, because in our industry, it's not like we're selling, service. Like we do service, but it's not like we're an auto mechanic, right? Where we just work on cars all day. Like we buy inventory. We buy inventory of bikes. So we order all these bikes in September, and then they show up in the spring, and they just kind of come off the truck, and we put them in the shop, and we're like, it's dope. Look at all these awesome bikes. But then COVID happens, and like, dude, you're gonna have to shut down. Well, we still got to pay our suppliers for these bikes. How are we gonna? So we started moving into online space. We started moving into we just start hustling, right? And starting to figure out how we're gonna get how are we gonna move it? How are we gonna get into the bikes? How are we gonna make this happen? And then they come back and go, wait, actually, you're essential service. You don't have to close. Like,
no kidding.
Right. All right, we're good. And then they go, okay, you're essential service. You don't have to close, but you do have to close your storefront. You're only allowed to do curbside. So that's the end of the world again. And then we realized that it was actually not the, it was, we're still busy. So
Mhm.
it was okay. I mean, again, terrible situation, but we were, because all the department stores closed and people couldn't buy bikes at department stores, because like all the gyms closed and people couldn't get their exercise, couldn't do any of that kind of stuff, and because it's been a beautiful spring, it's kind of created this little perfect storm for bike shops
Yeah, it's
where
crazy.
you can't, like, we can't get inventory right now. Like we can't,
Right.
like, when we are out of bikes, we are out of bikes. Like there's, like,
Yeah.
we've bought in everything every one of our suppliers has. There's
Wow.
nothing left. There's nothing left. Like we got to a point, we had suppliers that were flying stuff in from Toronto, from the States to Toronto, and we were calling them and getting it directly shipped to us instead of even like it showing up in Toronto, because we
Yeah.
needed the bikes, and it was just give us all of them.
Nice.
And you just can't get enough, right? The skids
Yeah.
are showing up and they're flipping it, and
Supply
it's,
and demand.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a terrible situation, but created this weird environment. And
Right.
as work, the COVID thing has been really emotional, I guess the best thing I could say.
Yeah, that's for sure. It seems like it's a, like you said, right? A wave of emotions. You're not sure. That's the problem, right? Is nobody's really sure of what's going to come of this.
No one has an idea, right? You talk to Mitch,
We don't know.
right? Mitch,
Yeah.
like that's the last thing, right? Like to do jujitsu. When is it okay to, roll around sweating on somebody? Like that's probably the last one, right? That's
probably. I mean, like between sweat and like blood. Like I've bled on you before. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, vice versa. So
it's pretty.
It's gruesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine. A lot of business owners, I got a buddy who owns a bar, and they don't serve food, so they're not like, they just serve a little bit of food, appetizers and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was trying to sell olives. He was trying to, now he's got these, like, but now he's innovated. Now he's trying to do like drink packs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine being in those shoes, man. Like, the serve benefit's great, but it's not going to cover all those bills forever. It's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, I bet. What's something that you guys, like, what's the biggest obstacle that you guys have faced as a business so far? And how'd you get over that? I like talking about how people overcome things. I'm not really here to focus on the negative of the experience. I'm curious to see, as somebody from this conversation, as I know you, you're very competitive. It's like if you you love something or you like something, you go full in on it.
Yeah, I do all of it. Yeah,
that's true. See how you get out of these challenges.
With the business, I guess one of the big challenges for me, anyways, is trying. You can't do everything, right? So when I worked at the other shop I had worked at, still in Sudbury, we did skateboards, scooters, snowboards, downhill ski, cross country ski, bike, paddleboard, clothing. Dude, try, like,
yeah.
Still, this is like 6-7 years later. I know so much about paddleboards. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Right? Like but try to be an elite salesperson for that much stuff. Like you can't know the specs on all these paddleboards.
Yeah, jack of all trades, master.
Right? And then try to know how, like, the lengths of wakeboard cables work, and then try to sell a bicycle. Like, you just can't, right? So
yeah,
when we opened up, we covered a lot of ground, and skate's a good example, right? Like, skate was super sweet. Skate needed its own spot. Skate couldn't be a session. It's just too much, right? Like, we do bike at sessions that bike does really well, and we know bike, and we're bike all the way through. So we do bike in the winter. We do downhill ski, cross country ski, snowboard, because it works out well.
Right.
We tried, man. We did wakeboard for one summer. It was just not great. Why? Because I don't have a boat. Right? I can't afford a boat to go wakeboarding.
Yeah.
To, like, really out there push the scene. There's guys out there that are doing it, and those guys need to open a wake shop, man, because everybody has a wake shop. But we try to do it to try to fill the void, because people are coming in and asking, but, like, dude, it's just, I'm not a wake guy. And we tried to do paddleboard for a little bit. It was the same thing. We bought rock climbing shoes. Rock climbing. We're like, you know what? Rock climbing is going to be the next big thing. So we bought all these rock climbing shoes, and we still have a bunch. Like, it just wasn't the same vibe, wasn't the same fit. So it's finding out your niche and what you do and what you do well and doing
Right.
that. So that was a big one for us. And like, I guess how we learned from it, and it cost us a bunch of money. Like every
Yeah.
time you go into the basement and you look into the back room and you see this wakeboard sitting on the wall, it's been there for 4 years, but you
Okay.
don't even have bindings for it because you hustled the bindings and sold the bindings, but you couldn't sell the wakeboard and it's just rotting. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't make you feel super good. So you don't stop doing that stuff.
Walk down. Oh yeah, 2016.
I mean,
That's a rough year.
it's just like my wall of rock climbing shoes. Like,
Yeah.
I've won rock climbing once in the past 4 years. I don't have time to rock
Jeez.
climb, man. I'm trying to ride
Yeah.
a bike. Like,
Right. You want to ride. You don't want to. You don't got to
exactly.
climb. Yeah. I get
You
that.
make mistakes, right? It's
Yeah.
business, but retail is a
Learn.
funny one because you always get tempted to do more and more and more. I want to
Right.
do this. I want to do that. I want to do that thing too. And like, dude, if you're trying to be everything to everybody, then you can't be the thing you're trying to be. You
I
just,
think that's huge.
it gets diluted, right?
Right. I think if people watch this, or when people watch this, I think if they take anything away, it's what you just said. I think, especially for business, like that's huge. That's huge. Like being able to focus and go, all right, this is where my passion is. I want to do this. I want to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. But the passion driven is here first. Let's focus here. Here's where the niche is.
You have to have a focus, right?
Yeah.
And you have to dial in on it, and you have to keep dialing in on it until it makes sense. And when it makes sense, just don't get me wrong. There's ways you can branch out, and ways you can do other things. Exactly like we did with the refinery, right? Where
Right.
skate, it's not that skate isn't a scene in town. It's massive, but it's that skate needs its own home. You can't put skateboards in a bike shop and try to call your bike shop a bike shop or your skate shop a skate shop, because it's not. Now it's a bike and skate shop. Put your skates in the skate shop and put your bikes in the bike shop. Now it makes sense. And it seems so simple, but it's not, right? You see it all the time. You walk into these shops and you're like, oh, seriously, you got that too? Okay. Right? Like it doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
You know, these little hardware store shops that got like dog toys and bows and arrows, and you're like, dude, like, I'm just looking for a hammer.
Just looking for a hammer, dude. Yeah.
It's just the way a lot of these guys are.
I think the way you guys did it, where it seems like it's seasonal, right? If I'm correct.
Oh, very seasonal.
Yeah. And, so your niche is seasonal. So because nobody's gonna be ripping bikes in the winter. I mean, big wheels, but we'll get into.
Now we got fat bikes.
Fat bikes.
We got fat bikes. That's game changer for us, man.
100%. So now it's all year round with the bikes. But I mean, with skis, can't really do it so much in summer. But I love that because it's almost, you guys have niched down seasonal. So it's even more niche down. So people know even more that that's the focus and they know where to go. Where you're not, if you did skate, right? Or you did all land wheel sports or all water board sports. It's like, well, now things are being overshadowed by things that maybe aren't as important.
And there's a way, like in our world, so we're in action sports, right? That's our like subcategory.
Yes.
And you'll notice a lot of the time you get like bike, ski, you get snowboard, skateboard, wakeboard. Like you get like, there's these like, there is like basically preset niches. And a lot of guys like to follow those, which is great. And they do work. It's when you start like trying to do all of them, it doesn't work. But you can definitely mix it up. Like we do really well with snowboard and really well with bike. But most of the time you go to like out west, like at the shop I worked at out west, they were basically high-end prestigious ski and high-end prestigious bike. Right. And those two kind of do go hand in hand. We do really well with snowboarders. We do really well with cross-country skiers. We do really well with all levels of bike, right? Like all the way down to like your $50, like the cheapest bike you could ever buy, used, beat up. Like guys are bringing it in to get tires and full servicing, all the way up to, you know, $20,000 e-bikes. We get guys from all different. So it's kind of cool. We're doing everything, but only for our genre.
Right. I like that though, because now it's not only have you niche down, but it's not like, oh, well, we do bikes, but we don't do these type of bikes. We do it's
all the bikes.
It's got two wheels.
Bikes. Yeah, there's some sketchy e-bikes with like weed whacking motors on them and stuff like that. We stay away from those, but bikes, things with two wheels that pedal.
So, question for you then, semi off topic. Do you have any paddle boards in your warehouse? No?
No,
You got rid of them
paddleboards
all.
are gone, dude. Paddleboards are
Yeah.
gone. You know how much room those things take up? I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah,
fair.
dude. Even the inflatables, dude. Like, there's people like, yo, I'm gonna get
Even
this
the
inflatable. It should be so compact. It's still like a fucking mini fridge, dude.
Yeah,
Like, it's like,
that's a good
and
point. The
then
box is
you
pretty
gotta have a paddle. Like, the paddle ain't small, dude. Like, it's like a,
big.
right. I remember when we were at Pinnacle and we sold paddleboards, man. We probably sold one year like 25 paddleboards, and they were all. Inflatables were just kind of starting to come out, so we had a couple inflatables, but we had these like 12 and a half foot long displacement hull paddle boards hanging out. I busted one on my first week working the job, actually. That was funny. Yeah, he had it hanging. And I went up top and he said, John, can you go like hang off this rafter and put this sign up or some
Yeah.
ridiculous thing? I'm like, yeah, but make it happen. So I'm up there and I kicked the paddleboard and paddleboard fell down and totally crushed the side of the hull. And he was like, yeah, I'm just going to fire my first week. But I ended up firing out, so it was all right. But yeah, those things are massive and they're super expensive, man. I don't know how.
Wow.
I don't know how many. Like, Ramaco's carries it. Thank God, because they're such a big store. But man, like I can't imagine a little tiny 1,500 square foot shop would be like 3 paddle boards would be full.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was gonna buy one if you had them. I was like, yeah, I'll take one off.
Yeah, it's not me. Yeah,
that's not me. Nice. Yeah, man, that's no, that's pretty wild though. As if you almost got fired on your first week for that.
That's a good time.
Like that's outrageous though. That's
a $1,500 paddle board. You just drop it on the ground from 8 feet up. Yeah,
but I mean, and I'm sure in retrospect, like, why the hell would anybody hang?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the first thing I said. They're worried about the spot to put it, and you can't really say that your first week to your boss,
you kind of gotta
like,
eat the crap first before you can.
Yeah, you just shut up and hope you don't get fired. Thank God
do
I
what you
didn't,
gotta do.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, man, it's the things you do, but to do what you love, I guess. The things you do to do what you love. But,
absolutely.
So with that, then, for people who've watched up to this point and they still are on the edge of why they should either start biking, or if they aren't sure about a bike or anything, now's your chance. Like, why sessions? Why bike riding? Simple plug.
Biking is the easy one, right? Like, especially if you're in Sudbury, right? Like, if and most of you guys probably in Sudbury. So, like, Sudbury's a mecca right now. It's just on the verge, right? So I urge anyone that's thinking about getting into biking and wants to try it, check out this website. It's called Trail Forks. So if you go to trailforks.com, it's put on by a company called Pink Bike, and people might have known Pink Bike, they know the name Pink Bike from years and years ago. They're an online article company and reviewing company, and they do a buy and sell and stuff like that. So anyways, They have this app called Trail Forks app and website that's basically Google Maps for mountain bikers. You go anywhere in the world, you type in wherever you're at, you type in Whistler, you type in Revelstoke, you type in Sudbury, you type in whatever, and it's going to pull up all the trails in town. Sudbury, if you look it up, is basically one giant trail center. And there's trails all the way from Walden to Laurentian to Keevy to like Minnow Lake. There's stuff out in Skeet. There's all over. And it's just kind of on the verge of cresting over this, like, we're just about to be known as a mecca, and it's not quite there yet. So if you want to get into trail riding, now's the perfect time, because there's a lot of people out. Everyone's kind of starting to get into it. It's a good time to meet people. For sure. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to come out to the bike club. This year, of course, with the COVID thing, it's a little weird, but you show up to a Tuesday night ride, and there's tons of people there, super inclusive, super good vibes. They do this once a month thing called the social ride, where usually the Tuesday night ride's out at Walden, but they bring the ride to a different trailhead. So they'll go to Laurentian, they'll go to Keevy, they'll go somewhere else, and we start at a bar. We'll go for the ride, and then we'll meet after at the bar, and there'll be prizes, food and appetizers and all that stuff.
Of course, now it's a little, damn it, that sounds sick.
This is usually in season. So these rides will attract 40 to 70 people. So it's a good time to show up and meet people in your ability, because they break you up into ability and everything, and ride with people. Sudbury's kind of the place. I mean, as far as sessions, I mean, we're around. We're a fun shop. We're the low to the ground, hang out, like, no bullshit kind of shop that
100%
doesn't like to beat around the bush, and doesn't we're super, super honest. Like, we carry a lot of brands. We carry a lot of brands no one's ever heard of. We end up being like that. A lot of these smaller companies that want our support, that want the customers, that
Right.
want to reach out to the customers, that want to talk to the customers. So it's kind of cool. We get this
Nice.
good
That's super
relationship with these small
valuable for them.
brands.
Yeah.
And, we usually, COVID kind of a little weird, but we usually have a coffee shop in the front end. You come in, hang out, have a coffee, chat about bikes, open tech shop in the back. You can kind of see what's going on. But there's lots of good shops in town, right? Like all three shops are all pretty good. And we're all trying to push the scene. So there's lots of opportunities to get bikes in town, which is awesome. But there's also lots of opportunities to get out and ride. And at sessions, we're always, it doesn't matter where you get a bike, just make sure you get a bike. And if you get a bike, we'll see you on the trail. Like it's just a matter of time before people do kind of come around, and we do meet them, and we do hang out with them and start riding with them. And then if they choose to buy cool stuff at our shop, awesome, right? That's the kind of our whole thing since the start. It's just meet people, hang out with people, ride with people, and just have cool stuff in the shop. And if we have cool stuff in the shop, people will buy it. You know? Force anyone to buy anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole attitude with the riding in town. It's just about as good riding as I've ever done. It's real good, and it's all rock, so
right.
It's not going anywhere. It's something special, right? You go ride trails down south, you go ride trails in BC, you go ride trails all over the world, and they don't quite have this much rock. So the rock we have makes our riding in Sudbury something kind of special.
Right.
And the riding we have in town, if you can ride here, like if you can go to Laurentian and you can ride around the lake, you can pretty well ride anywhere, and I can guarantee that. Like I've done it. I went and rode this down in BC, and it was manageable because you learn how to ride choppy, gnarly rock in Sudbury, and then you go ride
some places are wild.
Yeah, someplace else that's got flow and dirt, right? Like it's some kind of dirt. So it's if you can ride here, you ride anywhere.
Yeah, just because the trees in BC are significantly taller doesn't really change. Makes it a bit easier to ride if you're used to.
Oh yeah, dude! Rocks. It's like we're like riding on the moon over here, man. Like it's wild. It's rock all day. Like out in BC, there was this in Raby, there was this one little spot where they had this trail called Lost Boys, and it was basically this one slab of rock, and they put all these trails on it. You had to drive outside of town to go ride, and that's where you went to ride slick rock. You ride rock rolls. This was our trail for rock rolls. People get in a car, drive outside of town to go ride that. And then you look at Whistler. Whistler's got this other big rock slab called Yummy Nummy. And they've got Yummy Nummy and Uncomfortably Numb and all these trails that go over this one rock slab because that rock slab is naturally eroding and it'll drain all the water and it'll be there forever. So build all the trails on it. And you like drive into Chelmsford and you're looking on the side of the road and you're like, that's a rock slab and that's a rock slab.
Are we out west right now?
Yeah, isn't it you or anything? It's like having like an abundance of holy grails. So all of a sudden, all our riding is. Don't get me wrong, I would really appreciate some dirt and some flow, maybe. But
here and there.
But it's pretty good riding. It's pretty incredible. And the stuff the guys are doing at Walden now, like they push the limits. Now this year, like I just got out for the first time last week to Walden. I've been so busy at the shop, I haven't had a chance. So I got out there, and they put berms in, like full like dirt berms. There's no dirt, so I don't know why they got it, but they put dirt berms and jumps, and so now all of a sudden we're starting to see that stuff. We're starting to get the stuff that we were kind of maybe a little bit missing. We got it now, so
nice.
You can't really complain riding here in Sudbury, right? There's not really a reason to go and ride. Down south, they go ride somewhere else. So you got a good place here. So people are looking for a reason, man. Like all I gotta do is show up.
That's it, though. And I'd always enjoyed biking, and then over the past few years, it's been like tricky with wherever I was for work and school and whatnot. But then meeting you, and I attribute a lot of that, and whether it be training with you or just hearing your story and getting to know you and what your shop is more about. That's why I'm like, that's got me back in. Like I'm riding at least once a week. I have a pretty busy schedule, like with work, the show, and like my lifting and stuff. But yeah, I still try at least once a week to go, and I attribute a lot of that enjoyment to you and what your shop represents and the community aspect of it. And it's a lot of fun. Like I'm like talking to buddies, hey man, like, yo, we saw John, you guys, and then I ride with them and they're riding their new bikes and I'm riding this bike that hasn't been tuned up since 97. And I'm like, well, what's going on? Why am I so slow? I'm in pretty good shape. And then I'm like, I gotta get this tuned up. And then fast forward now, trying to ride all the trails I can. So I like the challenge.
But even in town here, like like our infrastructure is pretty trail driven. Like there's like
Yeah.
crusher dust trails. There's like gravel road. Like I was mentioning the gravel scene. Like you
Yeah.
go back behind Lively, man, and you go like Black Lake Road area. You
Mm.
can go for miles, miles, and miles on gravel roads. They're like if you're on a proper bike, man, you could be ripping, going 30 kilometers an hour down these gravel roads, and you don't have to worry about cars. You don't have to worry about people. You get way better scenery. You know, a lot of guys down south, it's road cycling is huge down south, but up here the roads suck. So then now that we have gravel bikes, we can go and ride this stuff.
Yeah.
We can ride wherever we want, long distance, all that stuff. So we're starting to see a big resurgence in that community as well. So there's lots of different disciplines of biking, and this is something for everyone up in Sudbury.
Nice. And that's I'm definitely gonna check that out because I was down in Black Lake area today for construction at work. So I'm definitely I definitely want to check that out. Like Google Maps, I'm definitely gonna stop looking at and look more at you said Trail Forks, right? It's
Trail
like
Forks, yeah.
Forks.
Yeah, like a fork, like the utensil.
Okay, simple. It's not spelled like some weird off-brand way.
No.
Simple.
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, sweet. So I wrote that down correctly. Good. Sweet. Yeah, because that'll be pretty sweet, man. I hope soon enough we're able to ride together. So
hopefully soon, man. Hopefully soon. We're biting our tongue, waiting, biding our time. Like we even like personally, right? Like when we go for rides, just me and Stace, like you can't be for now, man. Especially right. So we got Strava. Strava is what people are using to log rides and stuff. Like you don't want to be that guy who's out on Strava and says you rode with 8 other people. Like you can't be that guy right now. So we gotta take it a notch back and chill out and do these super small rides with just like whether it be our coworkers that we're with all the time or with my fiance. And just these super small rides, but waiting. Hopefully soon. They keep loosening the restrictions. So it'd be nice.
Yeah, hopefully if they ease it up, maybe like I don't know if we're in phase 2, maybe phase 3 or phase 4. There's something that like some form of community event you guys put on. Welcome back, because I feel if it's outdoors and it's biking and people aren't going to be, you can only be so close when you're on a bike, right?
Well, there's some like.
I mean,
we're doing some stuff where it's like, let's say that whatever the 6 feet rule, but when you're on a bike that's longer than 6 feet, because like the way you're like, you don't want to like whatever you're talking, you're breathing heavy, and like all that slide is coming backwards. You just want to be careful, right? Like,
right.
We ain't gonna go out and bike with masks on.
No, it's silly.
At the same time, like our events have gotten so big that if we do like a welcome back. We're going to do a fun ride. Like, you can't be like, but only 15 people, right? Like, you just can't. Like, I don't know what the number is, right? Like, maybe is it 50? Is it 50 when we can do that? Is it 100?
Yeah.
Is it like, how many people is it okay for us to let come before we're allowed to cap it? We don't want to cap it at all. We want everyone to come. So, like, we need to make sure the cap overshoots it. It's going to be a while before we know how to navigate that. We're still just trying to figure out how to run the store day to day.
Right. You got your daily battles.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We're still running curbside, running stuff outside, still doing deliveries in the morning, still doing that, plus we're also running the front shop. Like we're trying to run like the day to day like we usually with distancing and glass and masks. And,
you guys are pretty smart about that there. Like you walk in and you guys like, whoa, hand sanitizer, regardless of whether I'm with one person all day or not, it doesn't matter.
No, like guy comes in and goes, I just hand sanitize my car. I'm like, that's sweet, but you can't sanitize again, dude. I'm saying,
it's protocol here. Like
it's just what it is.
Keep
man.
us safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, nice.
So that's been pretty fun and pretty crazy, like interesting. I guess I'd say the first month, I was like, this is kind of cool, like the way everything changed. And then we were doing everything curbside. So we were running outside and had a fanny pack on. I was stuffing the seats in my fanny pack because we were like sprinting from car to car so fast with masks on and gloves on and everything. And it was crazy. I'm getting pretty tired of it now. I'm pretty ready for COVID to be done. I mean,
I don't blame you.
Done by it's done. There's nothing to do with me, but I will be excited the day that they say the virus is no more and we can just go back to normal. But it was interesting at first to kind of play with a whole new landscape.
Mm-hmm. See what ways you guys could, because I feel with this whole thing going on, I'm curious to know if there's anything that you guys would do that you learned, like a cool thing that you guys learned during COVID with the way the shop was going that you're like, oh man, if everything goes back to normal, this would be killer?
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing delivery,
Nice.
right? Like, yeah, it's just a no-brainer. Like,
No.
we're not gonna. Like, it's easy for us, right? Like, we go to the shop at 9. It's easy to pick people's bikes up in the morning, as long as they're local. But like that kind of stuff, we found a big need. Like, when we started, we offered delivery.
Yeah.
People call us up and they're like, "Hey, you're doing delivery? Yeah, perfect, no problem." And we're like, "Okay." They're like, "Yeah, we're not actually looking for it specifically for COVID." They're like, "We just don't have a car, so I can't get my broken bike to your bike shop." And
Mm.
I'm like, "Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. All right." Or like they've got this apartment or they've got whatever kind of situation they're in. Like, let's say we've had people that have mobility problems and they have a hard time
Yep.
putting their bike in the car, or they just don't have a car rack. Like, all these people, this is all of a sudden there's a demand. So we're like, all right, so we want just keep offering that.
Hmm.
Um, the curbside thing was a funny one too, because we're doing curbside, of course, for
Yes.
COVID reasons if someone requests it, but we're also, now that we have a wireless machine and a second computer that we can bring outside, we're doing curbside to reduce the traffic. So if we're allowing one person in the shop at a time, so we'll have one person in, and then someone will run outside and grab someone else to do their transaction curbside. If they're looking for a tube or something small, they don't even need to come in the shop. We can get them outside. So we're basically doubling our capacity.
Hmm.
So stuff like that is absolutely going to roll through into 2021,
Nice.
2022, 2023. Hopefully this virus ain't going to last much longer, and
Yeah.
we're
Fingers
going to keep
crossed.
a lot of these practices in place.
Yeah. I like that though. Wow. You guys kind of have a pretty sweet location for curbside as well. Like I mean, aside from
Yeah.
like, well, it's on a busy enough street that people will see your shop, right? But you have 3 of the 4 sides of your building have no roads.
Yeah, it's all parking.
It's all
It's
parking.
like
It's
both
phenomenal.
sides of parking, back is parking. It's good except when it was like when we were only curbside and it was super, super crazy. It's
Yeah.
just trying to figure out where the fuck someone is. So
Yeah.
you're like, someone calls, like, dude, I'm in the back of your tube, no problem. You grab the tube, you run outside, you go to a car, and you're like, and the guy's like, no, I'm here for my wheel. And you're like, I've got a tube. You don't need a tube? No, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And you run in the next car, I'm like, did you need a tube? And they're like, no, man, I'm here for my tire. I'm like, all right. And I run to the other side of the building. Did you need a tube? Guys like, yeah, I'm looking for a tube. Okay, cool. Like, 4 cars. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only weird thing, because people aren't like, go Staples. It's like, are you in aisle number 1 or 2? And we could have done something like that, but
Yeah.
the scramble is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was set up pretty well that way. We have multiple exits too, which is nice.
Right.
It makes the flow easy for now that we're in store, but
Yep.
also when we were curbside, because we could have guys going out both doors. We could have we're a quirky little weird shop, but
Dude, it
the
works.
location and the building has always just kind of worked for us so far.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, even space, if we're tight, but we'll make it work.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. No, I know we touched on it a bit at the beginning, but man, the aspiration for what your shop could be is phenomenal. Like the sky's the limit, man. Like from where it is, like it's already overtaking Sudbury. I like to believe that that's what I'm seeing. I mean, everybody I know has some affiliation through it, whether they like got a bike or fixed up, or they know of you, or they know. It's insane.
It's going quick. It's been kind of cool, just to see how quickly it has moved through the past, whatever, 4 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, we're not really planning. We're not planning on how it's going to go in the next 4, the next 10, and the next
Yeah.
15. It's day by day at this point, man.
Right.
Like, we've been doing that, like, since the start. We're here, and we're just going to keep doing what we do.
Nice.
We're not, like, for us, it's not about, oh, we're gonna go after this market or we're gonna go after that market. We just like riding bikes. So, when gravel bikes came out, or there's a good example for more recent, right? Gravel bikes came out. We really like gravel. We really like riding gravel. We really like the bikes. We have a lot of fun on them, and we started selling them. And it's as long as our passion's there, we got guys that want to do it. We got guys that want to ride. That's what we're gonna do. It so far has seemed to work out okay. I'm not gonna claim it's a recipe for success. We're only 4 years old. But,
Yeah.
it's worked out so far. But big aspirations and big, take over the world stuff is not it's not in the playbook for us. We're just trying to keep it low to the ground and have fun. Right?
Nice,
And
man.
it's the biggest thing, right? You don't go into the bike world just to sell bikes. You have to go into the bike world trying to
Yeah.
have fun and trying to ride bikes. If you're going into the bike world just trying to make money, you ain't gonna make it. It's not that kind of business.
Nice. I love that. That's awesome, buddy. So, did you want to close on that, or do you want to do you have any final thoughts, things, questions that you want to close off your episode with?
That's pretty good with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's sweet, man. Well, with that, I really appreciate your time. I'm so happy I was finally able to get you on the show, learn more about your story and how everything kind of started and how
Yeah, it was good, man.
yeah, man. So how you
It's
guys
good
were
to be able to run through it.
yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. I like that I was able to see and do research on your shop and you and figure out kind of how the story is. And like, I've seen you on other shows and stuff. So I'm like, I have that understanding of what you talk about and what you kind of come about. So it was cool. I'm able to double down and go, well, I would ask this as well, or I would dive deeper in this, or I'd stay away from that, or I'd steer into this.
Especially when you get a guy like me, right? Like you get like Chris Cacciotti's another guy like that, right? Where I'd say Connor's a little different. You get guys like me and Chris, where it's just all passion. And that's what we do, right? It's all passion. It's all speaking straight from the heart. It's all not that Connor's not speaking from the heart, but that it is an easy target, right? Like guys like me, that's why when you had asked, like, is there anything you don't want to touch on that tonight? Like
Nope.
I've had these conversations so many times, and it's a conversation like having because it's a life I've lived, and it's not just a life I've lived, it's the life that's worked out the way I tried to make it work out. And so far, things have gone kind of according to plan. And it's something people want to know about, right? People want to ask, so I tell them. And you kind of get used to the rhythm and flow. And when someone feeds into it and someone pushes you to talk more about your passion, you'll talk more about passion.
Right.
And it feels more genuine, and it feels more like it's not like just answering questions. It's telling stories and talking, whatever. And it makes it a lot easier. So when you get a guy that has passion and you kind of push him that way, it's super, 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 super easy for me to talk. That's why I kind of knew it could go this way. And it's something it's like whatever you want. It's cool.
Yeah,
right? Like
that's sweet, dude.
It's easy to talk about.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you in the first place. Because that's kind of where I like to believe, like the passion for learning and storytelling and everything, and like helping people achieve their goals no matter what they are. That passion for me has driven this show for me to be able to go, oh man, he might say no, he might not be. I'm like, you know what, man, screw it. Like if him coming on the show gets all of us or somebody out there to achieve something or one step closer to doing something that they want to do, let's do it. And it's all passion driven. So having guys like you on, phenomenal. All it does is make this for us like better. So
no, that's exactly it, man. And it'll the show will keep going. It's pretty cool to see even how far you've come on your show, and it's going a lot more, right? I watched the first couple episodes, and then all right, going on, and then I got another podcast. I didn't watch this one, a couple shows, and then you hit on a couple guys that I know that I'm buddies with, and I want to listen to that, and I said, it's getting a little better. It's got pretty good, man. It's got pretty good, and being on it, I'm pretty impressed. It's good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad. That's cool to know. Yeah, I'm the first couple, dude. I watched them back.
Yeah, but you gotta start somewhere, right?
Right, and that's it.
You gotta start somewhere, right?
You have to, and you understand that. And majority of the people who've been on my show to date all understand that.
Oh yeah, it's business guys, right? If business guys get it, right? The guys, people that have been through some shit or like fuck some stuff up, understand the break-in process, right? Like you can't come out swinging and perfect it right away. Like it has to go through trial and error.
100%.
Yeah, but it's cool to see how it's come, and it's doing pretty well now. That's funny. I was trying to find out how many people look at your show, but I couldn't figure it out.
For which
your listeners? How many listeners do you have?
Depending on YouTube, well, if we're saying YouTube, because we're video right now, YouTube, my earlier ones were like averaging about 100. 250. My last few have all been like well over 200.
That's pretty good.
Like Connor's was over 200. Okay, Chris is about like 180, and then like the gentleman I had before, shout out to you, Kevin, Slow Jam, and James. His was like almost 3. I've had a few with 3. Like yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
So it kind of depends on how I promote it, how it goes, and then what their story is. I think the story is a huge deal, and not so much listeners, but view duration. If people watch the episode for longer than the last one, that's a win.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, that's the challenge.
It's finding something people can relate to, right? Like
yeah.
Something people care about, and also some people know, right? That's gonna be a big one too, right? Like a lot of guys know City, and a lot of guys know Connor, and a lot of guys know. So it's trying to hit on those guys. Can you get Mitch? You get Mitch on here?
Yeah, I'm trying, dude. You can imagine.
I can't imagine how to get Mitch to talk.
Difficult.
That's gonna be the hard part, man.
Dude, so I don't know if you saw. So Mitch posted he wants to do like a him and me podcast for like.
I know you had told me about that.
Yeah. We sat down, dude, a month later, we sit down and recorded, and like all that, whatever. We were supposed to meet up today, but it's fridge, and then I stayed late at work. I worked till like 8:30, and then I was like, geez. Like,
so did you guys sit down and record a first podcast?
We've recorded one. It's everywhere. Like we go every direction, and we're trying to keep it short.
What's the podcast going to be about?
It's more fitness and lifestyle.
Fitness? Okay, that makes sense.
More so that, and yeah.
Mitch knows some stuff, which is a smart guy. But Mitch also has some opinions, and I fucking love him, man.
It's so funny.
He'll come over, we'll have a beer and a cigar, and he'll be going off about his opinions, and it makes me fucking laugh.
Oh, it's absurd.
Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah, dude, it's it'll be fun, but I'll definitely be in touch with you about that one, because I think you as a guest on it, the vibe would be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, anytime, man.
So
anytime.
that'd be a blast.
That's what I like doing. So that's no big deal.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I'll let you get to it. I really appreciate your time being on the show, everything you do for the fitness, cycling community, skiing community, and it's cool, man. I really appreciate your time and what you do, and for being on my show.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, man. No problem. So we'll be in touch, and I hope to bike with you soon.
Yeah.